Well, Jeff, we're standing here inside of your materials operation on the north side of Oxford.
Yep.
A place that most of us have driven by 760,000 times.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I haven't been inside up until your last year when you had the open house. So thank you, first of all, for taking some time.
Yeah, absolutely. Our pleasure.
I appreciate that.
Our pleasure.
Our job today is to figure out what on earth goes on back here.
Yep, absolutely.
And you folks are clearly proud of the work you do and the rules you have to follow to get it done.
Yep.
So give us a 2-minute version of what happens here. Why are we in a gravel pit?
Yeah.
What's the trucks? And what are the rules that you have to live under?
Absolutely. So with this being an MDOT pre-qualified supplier, we do a lot of sub-base work for road work. We make a lot of wash sand for concrete, asphalt, for ready mix, different things like that.
Lots of road.
Yeah, lots of road stuff. Lots of road stuff. Anything construction-wise, brick and mortar, anything that you travel on, walk in, anything like that has to do with aggregates. So.
And MDOT means?
Yep, Michigan Department of Transportation. They have a set of specs that we have to abide by to make the products to their tolerances. Okay. So we have on-site lab technicians that make sure everything's within that.
Be good to see that sometime.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. So these guys here, looks like they're going over what you told me off camera was a scale. Is that about right?
Yep. The blue portion that you can see right there is the actual scale portion. Right. The yellow parts are just up there as guardrails, just for safety reasons. On the end there, you can see the readout that has the weight of the truck. Each truck has a different set of weight restrictions that they're allowed to haul. And the girls in the office know what they're allowed to haul off the description on the front of their license plate. So we don't allow them to leave this gate unless they're underneath that weight.
So who sets up those weight restrictions?
The Michigan Department of Transportation has a list of what is legal and what's not, or what that axle spread is legal for.
So they run in here empty?
Yep. So they'll come in empty, they'll get on, we get what's called a tear weight or an empty weight, and then they'll go back to the pile that they're looking to get whatever material that is. They'll say, we'd like 50 ton, we'll split it up between the lead and the pup. They know what they want on both. They'll come back out loaded, they'll get printed, and then in that white box, they'll get a ticket that's printed with all the job information, customer information, and their weight. So
once they get here, they weigh empty.
Yep.
Then they run back somewhere in the middle of the maze.
Yep, it depends what product they're getting.
And they get the stuff that they need on here.
Yep.
And they come back through the scale again.
Exactly.
And then they walk away with a piece of paper that says all the information. That must be a heck of a scale to be able to weigh 50 or 60,000 pounds.
Yeah, that scale, I think the max that scale can go up somewhere around 200,000 pounds, but no truck can leave that heavy, obviously. I think 169,000 is the absolute max weight that you can have in the state of Michigan. So
one local question, then I'll go on. The rules are in Oxford restrict, I guess is the right word, some of these big trucks that haul so much weight from going in certain spots. How do these truckers know what's legal for them to drive on and what's not legal?
So like all of the majority of our truck traffic, there's some trucks that go to the east down Lakeville Road, but most of the trucks will go out to M24. So this road's a Class A haul route all the way to M24. But there is a map, like if you go onto like the Oakland County Road Commission, they should have a map that says all the truck routes. That'll have Class A routes.
Excellent. So they come in here. I know you said you're working on the
gate. The entrance is closed at the moment, but we'll have her back up next week.
They come in here, they get weighed, they go get their stuff. They come back out, they get weighed, and they head on out.
Absolutely.
Okay, excellent. So tell us what we need to know about the kinds of stuff that you're digging out of the ground.
Yeah.
How's that work?
Yeah, so we have our main primary loader is what we call it. It's a cat loader. They go in, grab the material raw out of the bank, dumps it into what we call a primary jaw crusher. It sends it up to the wash plant, crunches up all the big stuff, crunches it up. Anything bigger than 6 inches gets crushed, goes up to the wash plant, goes through the wash plant, gets cleaned up, gets scrubbed, sorts the sand where it needs to go, and then sends the stone where it needs to go to get sorted out by size.
So what I hear is you're taking stuff out of the ground and you're crushing it, which is an amazing thought for my old brain. Crushing rock. Yeah, I can't do that. It's really strong. And then you wash it. So what do you do with I presume you're washing dirt off. What do you do with the stuff you wash away?
So everything that we wash away in the dirty water or used water, I guess you'd say, goes through a system that we call an ultrafines recovery system. It's a series of cyclones, and it takes the majority of all that dirt out of it and sends it off into a separate stockpile where we can manage it. That way all that dirt and nasty stuff doesn't get into the water.
Excellent. So you keep track of and you separate the stuff you filter out. It is not going back into in a pile somewhere.
Yep.
All right, excellent.
Yep.
So what else do we need to know about this operation?
We got a brand new full scale operation here. We just put in 2 years ago. We're excited about it and excited to be here in Oxford. So we can get you guys out there and take a look.
Sure, let's take a look. First of all, how many people work at your shop?
Yeah, inside at the scale side, we have 2 full-time scale operators. Right. Here we do run 5 full-time scales. Okay. So the girls are pretty busy here. It's not just this location that they're running. And then we have 8 people on the production side actually running the plant.
Back again.
Yep, and then we have 2 full-time people testing the material at all times.
Any idea how much material, we'll call it, goes out of the gate every year?
On a year-to-year basis.
Millions of pounds, I presume.
Yeah, millions of pounds, absolutely. Absolutely, yep.
Good.
I couldn't actually put a number to it, but there's a lot of material going out of here during the summer.
Excellent. Well, let's take a look and see what's up.
Absolutely, sounds great.
Stay tuned, we're gonna go for a ride. So where are we going now, Jeff? And tell us a little bit about what the operation is all about here, please.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're heading down our main drive here that goes back to the wash plant. On our left-hand side, you'll see a couple of our wash sand products that go into ready-mix concrete and hot mix asphalt. Those wash products are a big part of what we do. That's a staple of our company and organization. As you can see, the piles are pretty large.
Yes,
that is one of our high output materials. The smaller products you see, like this next small one here on the left, just past the big pile, that's one of our, that's a class 2 product that's coming out of the wash plant. One of those sub-base products that goes underneath roads, building pads, etc.
So this is a different quality.
Yep.
For different applications.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Got it. That's quite a mechanism behind it. That plant there.
Yep. That's quite a plant. Like I say, we put that in. This is our 2nd season running with this plant, so we're getting all the bugs worked out of it.
Sure.
It is quite a large plant, so there's a lot of tips and tricks that go into it to make it run right.
Is its job basically to wash the stuff you dig out of the ground?
Yeah, so basically its job is to wash the sand and get any of the the clay impurities out of it.
Got it.
And then it washes the stone as well. You'll see up here when we make this bend, these 2 conveyors that we're driving under. This is a slurry sand conveyor, which when we were talking earlier, Chuck, about that machine that takes all the dirt out of the water.
Sure.
Where that big pipe comes down on a 45-degree angle.
Yes, sir.
That's the ultrafines recovery system, and then all the sand that comes out of the water goes onto that conveyor and gets stacked out back, and it turns into a sellable product that's just fill sand.
Interesting. So you have lots of things that you can sell, even though they all require different levels of processing.
Yeah, exactly. And then this conveyor that we're driving under here in front of us is a stone conveyor. You can see it dumping over there to your right.
Yep.
Dumping onto the stone surge pile that feeds our crushers. And then the next conveyor that we'll drive under here is also a stone conveyor. Our stone all goes through what's called a log washer, which is that big tub over there that says EIW on it. That scrubs and washes the stone, gets any of the hard chunks of sand, clay off of it, and sends it up this conveyor to this screen deck over here, and that sends it off into the different products based off the screen size. We talked about pea stone a little earlier. We have pea stone sitting up there, and 6A round stone on the right.
It's amazing how much work it is to get to the kind of gravel that goes into roads or goes into basement foundations or anything.
Absolutely.
There's a lot of work to it.
Lots of work. Lots of testing, lots of everything that goes into it to make sure that it's quality products and everything. So the guys here do a fantastic job with all that. This conveyor that we're driving under right now is just our conveyor that feeds the wash plant. So that conveyor is a busy one.
How does this stuff stay on the conveyor belts?
It's dry enough when it's going up there because it hasn't met water yet. So it's dry enough that it can stay on those conveyor belts, and you'll see on the top rollers that they're angled. We call them troughing rollers.
Yep, that makes sense.
So that way it has a curve that kind of holds everything from going off the sides. So what we're going to go down into right now is what we call the primary jaw crusher. So this is where, actually here's our primary loader operator right here coming up.
That's an imposing beast.
Yeah. So he's down here all day, every day from when the plant starts. He's digging out of the raw bank down here, as we call it. And by raw bank, I just mean we're digging out of this bank whatever's in it, sand, stone, and in whatever ratios that it's at. He spends all day down here, and you can see kind of where he's been digging straight ahead of us and to the left.
Yep.
So he picks that up, puts it in this big hopper here on the right, and that's what feeds that plant up top.
Interesting, the striations of in the rock here.
Yeah, you can see kind of where it goes from sand to stone to sand in that wall there, as I call it, or in the bank, and that decides what we can make out of that product and how we need to change the feed, as we call it, to make those products a quality product.
You mentioned earlier that we're blessed here because the glaciers who came down from well north apparently ground up half of Canada and drug it down here. And when they melted, they just left all this stone behind. That's an incredible amount of stone, just to think that it got transported inside of glaciers and just dumped here.
Yeah, absolutely. And you'll notice in different parts of this deposit that we drive through that some areas are rich in stone, like the one we just visited, and then there'll be some that we go through later on that are predominantly sand. And it changes. That's kind of the struggle that we face every day, is making sure that we're keeping up on testing to make sure that when we get into those really sandier deposits or the really stonier deposits, that we can adjust the feed and make sure that we're making that quality material.
Now, I'm sure you'll get to this, but you make me think there's 1,100 acres here, I read.
Yep.
Which is a heck of a piece of property.
Yeah.
Eventually, will you guys run out of sand and gravel to mine and go someplace else? Or are you here for the long haul?
We'll be here for a long time. I won't see the end of this pit being that large. And it all depends kind of on the workload too, how much work we have coming out of here.
Sure.
But this pit will be here for a very long time.
Got it.
Yep. It depends on how much, like I say, with the workload, how much material we put through the plant and what the demand is.
I can imagine there are developers, local and regional, who look at 1,100 acres of property and think, oh, what I could do with that.
Yeah.
Which of course means, oh, how much money I could make with that.
Right. Yep. And well, right now we're just getting into the early stages of managing this property and getting it all down to one level, as we say. Over here to our right, you'll see that is another dry screen plant. That plant's just diesel powered. That has no water. It's just a dry screen plant. It takes the stone out of the sand. That sand is just used for sub-base. It's a Class 2A product that we make for road base and for building pads.
So you're just separating stone and sand?
Yep. So that's all we're doing over there. We set that up in more of our sandier locations, so that way we can get if there's some sand that won't go through the plant as good up here, then we'll screen it out for that product. And
it's quite a view here. You see up on the hill and down and front and around. It's you got a scope. The scope of your operation is pretty remarkable.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. Appreciate that. Yeah, and then we'll take a ride over here to the crushing plant, and I'll show you guys. We make products for asphalt as well, crushed stone products that go into the asphalt. So they mix our sand with our stone with the liquid asphalt and whatever else they have in their mixes, and that's what goes on our roads.
Excellent. So if I hear you right, whether it's concrete, cement plus, or asphalt roads, there are products, plural probably, that come out of this operation that are fundamental for making those roads.
Yeah, absolutely. And a lot of our products go into a lot of different mixes, as you say. I mean, we could be making products that go into sidewalks one day. We could be making products that go into I-75 the next day, and some of them are the same products, some of them are different.
Got it.
But yeah, we make all of them here. We're just a few of the pieces of the puzzle for their recipes.
Sure.
This pile here on our right is 6A round stone. That's used in concrete, indoor concrete pours for like your basements, your garage floors, different things like that.
So not too large.
Yep. It's about 3/4 of an inch to 1.5 inches at the top end. Septic fields, we have septic sand, we have septic stone, which is what this would be considered. So Really, from anything that you drive on to the schools that your kids go to your houses that you live in, there's aggregates somewhere along the way that we make here that makes everybody's life a little bit easier.
You get many really big stones? I don't see many here.
Yeah, so like you'll see in that pile over there, like I say, down at that primary jaw crusher, that takes all the stones that are too big and it crushes them down to 6 inches or smaller. And then that brings all the stone to this, what we call a tunnel here, and that feeds our 2 crushers on this side. And these crushers can make a number of different products. We have some products like this one we're coming up to on our right here is 21AA. It's used for, a lot of people use it in their driveways, road base, different things.
Right.
All of this stuff is sized by the screen decks that we have, so it depends what the openings are, where the stone goes and how it gets there and everything like that.
A lot of moving parts.
Yeah, there is a lot of moving parts here, a lot of conveyors. Conveyors are the most efficient way for us to move material.
Sure.
This pile on our right is just an asphalt split that is 5/8 by 3/8 asphalt split. You even got some deer up there.
See the deer?
I
imagine you get a lot of wildlife through here.
Yeah, we do. We get your turkeys, your foxes, your deer.
Sure.
You name it. And then as we talked about back there, this product right in front of us, this very white sandy looking color, that's all the material that comes out of our water. So that's all the stuff that we take out before it goes back into the big ponds that we pull out of. So it's huge for us to be able to take that out of the water so that we don't get the water all muddied up. So that's,
is that something you can sell as beach sand or anything?
You can sell it as beach sand, fill sand. It packs up really nice. That sand in particular doesn't usually meet an MDOT spec. I've seen it do it in the past, but it's usually not a very sellable MDOT product. But it definitely is a sellable product nonetheless.
Yep.
And then on the right here, we'll go by a couple more asphalt splits. That's what we call manufactured sand on the right there, and then we have some more 1/2 by 3/8 up here. Lots of conveyors, lots of moving parts, as you said. So there's always something for our guys to do. Like I said, we have 8 guys out here full time between loaders and plants, so they're keeping themselves busy.
Looks like you got some nice sized ponds out here.
Yes. Yep. We have all the ponds are actually connected, so it's actually one big pond, but it looks like it goes into a series of 2 or 3, but they're all connected in one way, shape, or form.
I don't suppose you offer fishing expeditions out here.
Oh, I wish I could, because rumor has it that there's some pretty nice fish in those ponds. But
I imagine so.
I can't speak to that as I've never fished on them. But
all private property.
Yep. But I would imagine that there's probably some pretty nice fish. There's no doubt about that.
Probably never been fished.
Yeah, probably not.
Right.
And then that's the crushers right there that you can see, the 2 red pieces underneath there. We got twin crushers there.
So these guys actually take big rocks and smash them down to be little rocks.
Absolutely. That is the name of our game. So that's kind of the 30,000 square foot view of what we do here.
What people drive by here. There are some people who tend to worry about things unless they're really assured. Is there anything that concerns or has concerned people, and how do you address those concerns for the citizens, maybe the neighbors and stuff like that around here?
Yeah. So like all of our equipment, we're retrofitting with white noise backup alarms.
Okay.
So that way we can try to keep the noise down for all of our neighbors. We understand that sometimes we start a little earlier than people like to wake up.
Sure.
So the most that we can do to get that as quiet as we can for them, we're always happy to do so. And then we try to keep up on grading our roads. This time of year is tough with all the rain that we've been getting.
Sure.
But we do have a grader on site, and we do have guys that can operate that. So the more quiet we can keep these trucks and trailers in here, the better for our neighbors and the better for us.
Sure.
So we want to be a part of the community and be a good part of the community and not a nuisance. So whatever we can do to help. I know there's times that when it rains and stuff, some mud gets tracked out on the roads. We do have our own sweeper. We do go out and sweep the road and everything to make sure that, people's cars aren't getting dirty, it doesn't get dusty, and we don't want people's windshields to get busted and things like that.
Right.
So the more we can do for our neighbors to make life more enjoyable, we're happy to do so.
Now, the Pollyant Trail goes right along I guess it would be the south part of your property. Is that correct?
Yep, you got it. all the way along. Absolutely, absolutely. And from what I can tell, all the truck drivers and everything are very, very respectful of everybody on the trail, and it seems like everybody on the trail is pretty respectful of them, so it seems to work out pretty well for everybody involved.
I would think it would be healthy for a person to respect a gravel train hauling 50 or 60,000 pounds of gravel.
Absolutely, absolutely. That'd be a tough battle to win.
I would be tempted to be respectful for those people. Yeah.
100%.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Excellent. Well, thank you for the tour. It's sounds like when you talk about it, you have a lot to be proud of here.
Yeah, we're very excited. We're very blessed to be a part of the Oxford community, and we're very happy to be here. And we're happy to be here for a long time and be good partners with the community.
Excellent. Well,
all right, so we'll show you guys our quality control lab here.
okay, so this is QC.
Yep, this is all the QC. This is where it all starts. So basically what happens is a 5-gallon bucket of the material comes in like so, and it's all mixed up just like how we're making it. They dump it, they get the accurate weight of it, and they come over here and they weigh it. They take it from there, put it in our ovens. We have 2 industrial-sized ovens. You have to dry the material, get it dry. That tells you your moisture content. From there, you weigh it again, then you put it in these washers here that keep spinning round and round, and it has water involved in it. And that does 2 things. Well, it does one thing, but it tells you 2. It washes the material, so like it gets any clay impurities that the wash plant didn't get out of it. Sure. And then once you weigh it at the end, that'll give you what your loss by wash is. All of this stuff has specs that the Michigan Department of Transportation makes us be held to. So this whole series goes on in here. All these different steps and procedures that we take is all according to MDOT's plans for their specs.
How often do you test these?
So when we're making materials, we test our materials between 4 and 8 times a day.
A day.
Yep, and then we test our shipping faces based on how much we're shipping. So the guys in here will be in constant contact with the girls up front. Right. So if we ship out 1,000 ton of 2NS or 3CS, we automatically get notified. It tells us we need to do another sample just to make sure when you're getting into that pile that you're making sure that it's still good product when it's going out the gate. Once it's done in there, it'll go back in the oven and dry again. And then it gets put through a series of sieves, is what we call it, which is this. And you can see there's a bunch of different sizes in here that go down. You can go all the way from that small all the way down to something you can't hardly see through. And that breaks it down into what different groups of particle size that you can have for MDOT standards. You weigh each one of these and the material that comes from it, and that puts it in the computer, and MDOT will tell you what spec you can go into. These get shaken out, and you can see in that room those blue boxes. Those are shakers, mechanical shakers that just shakes it. You shake it for 8 minutes and
sort it down.
Lets it sort out and everything.
So Jeff, we're what looks like the brains of the outfit here.
Yeah.
Tell us what goes on here as we close this up.
Absolutely. So like we said earlier, we have 2 full-time scale operators on site. They're scaling out all the trucks both here on site and at 3 other sites. So they're pretty busy up here all the time, especially this time of year when we have a lot of trucks. So they have multiple computer screens that have our scale software programs on them. There is a lot of automation that's tied in with these. So once they get the trucks checked in and everything, these pretty much run themselves for the most part, barring any snafus or anything. So these girls are both in contact with all of our customers throughout the day and get all the material out the gate in a quick and efficient manner.
Looks very effective.
Yeah.
How long have you used computerized systems like this? Because this looks like it's pretty recent stuff.
Yeah, so we've been using the computer software for probably since the mid-2000s, I would say, is when we first got into it, but we've really latched onto that automation here in the last 5-6 years. It's really helped us benefit from cycle times and getting trucks in and out more efficiently. And
time is money.
Absolutely.
I read that somewhere.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think it was sewn on a cushion on the wall.
But
so they keep track of what goes in, what comes out, If they need to contact a truck driver, they can do that?
Yep. They have CB radios in here where they can get in contact with the guys on site here at this location, or all of the phones at our other locations also ring to this location.
Got it.
Or they have we have company-wide radios that if they need to get a hold of somebody, they can get a hold of them.
All right. Well, you can see there's a lot to be done here to take stuff that these folks dig out of the ground and turn it into usable product that goes to make roads and bridges and tunnels and all kinds of other things that we all need. So, Jeff, I want to thank you for
Chuck, thank
taking
you.
time.
Appreciate it.
This has been an amazing
Yeah,
operation.
absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you for your time.
Well, we'll let you get back to work.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Take care now. Stay tuned.